Okay.
Okay. It just takes a second to boot up. So,
Okay.
all right. We going live. I hope I don't be bugging you when I be sending you that stuff to
Oh
just
no,
get you up to speed.
I can
And
multitask.
we can always talk about anything that's going on in your neck of the woods. This ain't all about Gary Monroe.
Oh no, no worries.
'Cause, I mean, yeah, we talk about anything. Y'all tuning in. Y'all just sit tight. I got to make sure that we locked and loaded. And there we go. All right, here we go. Say without a shadow of a doubt, it's the hottest show on social media. They may try to emulate us, but they can't duplicate us. I want to welcome you to the War Zone. I got my fabulous co-host, Demetri K, and I am the 5-star general. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all need to get to the button and share this. We need to get our numbers through the roof. We want to share it. You need to share it to your watch parties, to your groups, everybody. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna do it like this here because I know how y'all do, man. Hey, I want to welcome y'all to the War Zone, man. I want to welcome you to the War Zone. I need for each one of y'all to push the share button. We need to get this out. We're gonna talk about some real hot topics tonight, man. We're gonna talk some real hot topics tonight. So I'm gonna let my co-host, tell them how it's going over in sunny California, man.
Well, it's actually very sunny today. About 75 degrees. I laid down on the balcony for a minute. It got me a nice little fan. That's what I've been trying to do. So it's going great so far. Under the current conditions of the stay-at-home order, can't complain.
Okay. Hold on just a second. All right. Well, we not gonna play with this. That's what we not gonna do. And we gonna go straight into our topics. I sent you some information today. I know last night we were on fire and we were talking about top and then we went some other places, but I want to kind of focus on top. That's what I really want to focus on because I went and I did some homework. And I did the homework because you were able to see it.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go to my notes real quick. To my notes, I got it already pulled up. Now, if y'all don't know about Top is the Texas Organizing Project, and they take on a lot of different issues that are really, really important in the African American and Latino community. They're a nationally recognized organization, so they're in several different cities. And I started digging because that whole Cynthia Bailey thing opened another door for me. So I started digging because I mean Tarsha Jackson, her opponent, keeps coming across my radar. And I started digging into top. And after last night, my phone started ringing. And the information that I got is verified. It's what it is. So if you're upset about me reporting the truth, then you're just gonna be upset. I'm sorry. Dealing with me with the truth is like having the coronavirus. You ain't got no choice but to deal with it. That's all it boils down to. So when I started, we kind of left off last night, talking about top. So I wanted to figure out who were the main players. And one of the main players that came across my radar is Brianna Brown. She makes about $90,000 a year. And from what I understand, allegedly she's worse than Stephen on Django. The treat African American members as well as employees like they're very well beneath her. From what I understand, she is based in San Antonio because Top has a group in San Antonio and she's on the state level, but treats the people like they're garbage. Now you have to understand that a lot of these people come in and they volunteer their time, whether it's through churches or whatever, and they work hard. And when there's a social issue that they attack, these are the people that they use. But yet, from what I'm getting, she treats them like garbage, and realistically, verbally abuses the lower level employees. Now, the one thing you're gonna learn about me, Demetri, is I like to walk in my own water. I take the heat for anything that I'm saying. You can just speak on it from a broader perspective. But um, I'm looking at Brianna. I'm like, okay, well, who she are and how she does it. That's not illegal. You can just be an ignorant person. Everybody can't be a manager, because you have to figure out that when you're managing people, that you can't manage everybody the same way. You manage according to personalities and skill sets. I was a manager, so I mean, and when I was in corporate America, but this lady treats them like garbage. So I went and I dug a little bit more into Tarsha Jackson. Well, Tarsha, you know, um, 2018 at a Christmas party, it was announced that she was going to resign her position with Top, and she was going to run for an elected position. If I can remember correct, Tasha started off in the race over there, and I think it was at large position 5 city council with Sally Alcorn. But according to what I understand, she didn't feel she could beat Alcorn. So she jumped from that race over into the District B race. Now, I want you to understand something. If you cared so much about District B, then why didn't you get in the race from the beginning? What you did is you jumped races because you knew you could not beat Alcorn. She had the name, she had the money, and you knew you couldn't beat her. So you jump over there in the B like you care so much about B. But I'm in the community. I got good friends in Fifth Ward and Cashmere Garden. That's a part of District B, Demetra. And they say she don't do nothing in the community. But you want to be a politician, but yet you don't have a history of doing anything in the community. Now, I know I am sick and tired of hearing your redemption story. I get it. Your child went through something that's very, very unfortunate, because I love children. But now you want to serve the community at a greater capacity, but you haven't served the community before you decided to run. So if that's the case, I don't think you would be a good fit. I'm gonna stop right there and let you speak on something like that from a political standpoint. These people always want to serve, but yet they don't do the work before it's time to run.
Well, again, we know it is about power, position, power, prestige, and money. So a lot of times people run for those things, and candidates jumping districts. That's not unusual. You hear about it a lot. Well, it is unusual. I won't say it's normal. That's not what I'm trying to say. But we hear about people using different addresses and stuff all the time, and that's really people who are hungry for a position or power. Now, couple that with people saying she's not doing anything for them and hasn't done anything for them. That right there is kind of indicative that she just got in there for her own reasons, her own enrichment. Perhaps, as we talked about yesterday, maybe she's actually just a pawn. She's being used for somebody. That happens a lot. But again, we always going to have to ask, why do those people keep getting elected? Unless there's something else going on behind the scenes, some technology or something. But, people continue to go vote for those people. To me, like, I always wonder how long a candidate has been in the district. Have they lived here for a long time? Do they have a really rooted, vested interest in the district? Now, if they just gotten there 6 months ago, a year ago, and it's like, well, maybe you want to kind of get in here a little bit, live here for a while and get your feelers in there and see what the people and the district is really about. But I think voters should really ask, well, how long have you been here? And why now do you want to run in this district?
Well, I think that she's done some work. I think she did a little bit. I sent you some stuff, but I didn't send you everything because I wanted to surprise you so that I could get that great response that the people are starting to love from you. We had a horrible hurricane come through named Harvey that decimated our city. And of course, you had everybody pitching in from everywhere trying to make it, get us back to normal. Well, TOP was one of those organizations that received thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And a portion of that money they put Tarsha in control of it. And she gave some money to some people I know, at least two ministers I know for sure. And I know that they did the right things with the money because I was working with them. I didn't ask about no money, I just did the work. Now she had to make sure that she did things for the community, and she got a bunch of gift cards. And she, from what I understand, this is coming from people that wanted to give me the information. She passed out a few gift cards, and that was it. So you got all this money, and what happened? On top of that, there was a guy who she was supposed to give some money to. Well, I'm telling the truth, so ain't nothing for me to do. She was supposed to give some money to the leader of Black Lives Matter, Houston, but she forgot about him. So of course he lit her up on Facebook, lit her up, and from what I understand, allegedly, she went to the board and told them, "We need to get this man some money so he can keep quiet, so he don't mess up my election run." The guy comes to get the money and don't even have a bank account. So you just wrote him a personal check. And from what I understand, allegedly, double digits, thousands in the personal check. Now that could be 10,000, that could be 11, I don't know. But that's what I'm getting. So you didn't do right by the community when you got the money from Harvey. You gave out a few gift cards. And the crazy part about it, nobody over there kind of knew why they put her over the money. Now, this the part that amazed me. A lot of the people, organizations that you gave money to, you made sure to give them to people who ended up being your campaign contributors. Talk to me, Dimitri.
Well, first of all, how do you forget to give somebody some money? How do you forget to do that? I mean, somebody, especially, I would say he's probably pretty prominent, the head of Black Lives Matter Houston, right? I'm assuming he's a pretty prominent guy in the community. So how do you forget to give him money?
Exactly.
And it doesn't sound like it was a small amount. It'd be different if it was like $5. Like, oh, you know what? I forgot to give it to you. But typically, when you owe somebody quite a bit of money. So to me, that rings it like something's going on there. How do you forget? Did you think, I don't know, maybe she thought he was a sucker? I don't know. And then when he, pulled her card, then like you said, she needed him to be quiet. So she gave him some money. But well, who did she give the gift cards to?
Really, you were just giving them out to individuals. You'd show up somewhere and just hand them a gift card or whatever. But the thing is at that time everybody was hurting. So whatever amount of money you had, you could have passed out thousands of gift cards. But that didn't happen. It was only a few gift cards that were passed out. And see, that's the thing that I'm getting about TOP as I've done my research. They most of their funding is grant-based funding. And we know that when you get grant-based funding, that you have to do follow-ups. You have to say what you've done. You got to follow the guidelines to make sure that you got the grant. This is what you need to do. So if they're in charge of doing X, Y, and Z, they only do X. And then they go to the grant application and check off like they did everything. That's falsifying a document.
Right.
That is falsifying a document. So that's scary to me when I think about an organization that does something like that. They don't fulfill their grant requirements and they're falsifying the grant application. Um, the more I dug off into top with Tarsha, I found this out. There's an endorsement process that they have to go through. You know, a candidate has to go through. We got to go to all these endorsement meetings. And I even screened with top when I ran for school board. And now I'm thinking, why did I even show up? Back at the Christmas party, the leadership party, or whatever it's called in 2018, I mentioned that a few seconds ago. They played a video. In this video, according to the people that I spoke to, the video kind of insinuated that Tasha was going to run for a position and that Top was going to endorse her. Well, hold on. The screening process was almost a year later. Almost a year later. So we know the screening process is be jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
But to honestly get somebody from inside of the organization to tell me that they had already endorsed her. They hadn't talked to nobody, the board, the membership, and you just pushing this lady. And then that's disrespectful to the candidates who ended up coming in there screening. And the whole time, the deck was stacked against them. It was stacked against them. Now I'm going to keep rolling because I want you to be able to talk about this, all right? So now I'm going to go to my next point. Y'all, it's good. This is good, man. You see, I'm talking about how Rodney Ellis gave money to Top and all this stuff. Well, good friend of mine, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, gave money to Top. You know, Ardia Jones, that lost for DA, but she ran for DA, gave money to Top. Multiple politicians gave money to Top. And they should take that money and put people at the polls and pass out cards and do phone banking, mailers. But from what I understand, y'all ain't did nothing. You took all them people money, whether I like Rodney Ellis or not. I'm gonna stand firm. You took his money. You didn't do anything. Nothing. You took Sheila Jackson Lee's money. You didn't do nothing. And my source tells me that it was clearly understood we're putting all our efforts behind Tarsha Jackson. So on actual election day, you saw a few people running around Top, but you can always identify Top people for one reason. They wear their shirts. They're very visible. And I remember going to the polls on election day, and I didn't see no Top people there. I ran into one dude close to the end of the day at Northeast Multipurpose Center. And actually, he's on the board. I guess he's on the local board. And we got into it because I don't support Top. And I didn't support the candidate that they were pushing. So the thing was, why did you take them politicians' money and didn't do what you said you were going to do? Now, this is a nationally known organization doing some foolery where they basically defrauding the candidates. Flow for you.
I mean, again, a lot of that is not unusual. But the thing is, did any of those candidates do a checks and balance to see what was actually done? Or maybe not candidates, but all of these donors like the Sheila Jackson Lees and Rodney Ellis's and all those people, did they do any checks and balances to say, hey, what actually, where did the money go to? You know, was it helpful? Did anybody ask those questions, any follow-up questions, or was the money just given to them? And, was it, hey, do what you need to do it? I mean, did it have a specific purpose, or was it just?
It definitely had a specific purpose to run their field operations to, promote those candidates. And from what I'm understanding, Um, if a couple of them go by there right now, they stuff in the closet. They stuff still in the closet.
It
See,
probably won't be
I'm gonna tell you
anymore.
like this: he a candidate or not, Demetri? Where I'm from, you ain't just finna take nothing from me. Oh no, 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 no. Cause see, Monroe don't get no whole bunch of PAC money and folks donating. That's my hard earned money.
But again, why didn't anybody do any checks and balances? To me, it seems like if I gave you money to, I guess, campaign on my behalf, I want to see the work. Where it, because I actually represented a guy. He was running for city council out here. I was actually his campaign manager and all that. And we gave a guy who's a consulting agency who was supposed to be doing some phone banking. And he didn't do any phone banking, but we found out because we actually put a couple of numbers on the list and we didn't get a call. So when we jammed it up, like, oh, well, I'm going to, but we wanted to make sure because it wasn't, $5. It was quite a bit of money that we gave him. So these candidates, these campaigns, that's kind of their fault too. If they weren't double checking to make sure the money, that's like you give a mechanic money to fix your car, you drive off, and it's still making the same noise. You're not going to keep going. You're going to make sure you got your money's worth. Those people didn't make sure they got their money's worth. And I'm not excusing Top. I mean, it sounds like they're doing some janky stuff, but how is it that they still have a closet full of candidates' materials and nobody knew about it?
Now you can see the question from Sarah Spears Silver. What is the local budget and salaries? Now, as far as the local budget, Sarah, I don't know the local budget, but this is the way the salaries work. The people that really do the work, and it's like that in 98% of the companies that I know. The lower level people, the blacks and Latinos that do the actual field work, they're making about, well, let me start. When you work for the polls for them, you're gonna get maybe $12 to $15 an hour. Now, if you work for them on the lowest level, you'll get 40,000. Now, people like Breonna Brown and Tarsha Jackson, they in the 70s, 80s, and 90,000s. Now, here's the thing. When they announced at that meeting that Tarsha was going to run, they said that she was going to resign her position. I want you, all you good people out there that donate the top, let me show you how the game worked. She was going to resign her position and run for public office. But in a quiet little meeting, it was determined. Look, and this how it was said. This is what we're gonna do. We gonna let her resign her position. We're gonna switch her over and make her a consultant so she can still make her money. So y'all hard-earned money is being misused by Top. Now, Top, if I'm lying, and I can make you do it, according to 501c3 laws, release your financial information. And matter of fact, I will request that in writing, and according to the IRS, I like the federal people. You have 3 days to release it. Refusal to release it, and if you get caught, it's punishable by up to a $5,000 fine every day that you don't release it. Expect my letter in the near future. See, these are the games that these people play. The only time Top comes to the community is when there's a major social black or Latino issue. Outside of that, you don't see them people. You sending these people to our neighborhoods that have zero connection to our neighborhoods. And then you go get you a Django, a Steven from Django like Tasha, who doesn't care anything about the neighborhood because your work will reflect that you don't. And you send them to the neighborhood to bamboozle the community. Now, the one thing I like doing is I like keeping up with money. And I'm trying to understand, you help me if you can define this word for me. Commingling. If y'all don't know what commingling is, that means you mixing up money. So is it true, Top, that you're commingling the 501c3 money with the for-profit money? Because if you are, that's a violation of federal law. That's why I'm going to request your financials. And when you give them to me, if you in violation of federal law, I'm going to send you some company. Ask HISD how I feel when them boys in them black jackets with them 3 letters on the back show up at your front door. Oh, I'm in your business now. I'm in your business now. You can speak.
No, I mean, if there is some commingling, well, to avoid commingling, you're like you say, you're supposed to have separate accounts. The money is not supposed to mix, cross over to any degree at all. So if somebody does come audit the books, they're supposed to see exactly where the profit money went and where the nonprofit money went. Now, if there is some commingling, they're definitely gonna find out. And like you said, it's that's a big no-no. But from the information you have, it sounds like that's probably what's going on. But again, I would just impress upon, because there are agencies or organizations rather that actually police nonprofit organizations because they know the games they play. They know, a lot of people aren't watching. A lot of times people donate from their heartstrings. Oh my gosh, I want to donate to the, Susan G. Komen breast cancer organization or, this, that, and the other, but they rarely stop to ask themselves, well, where exactly is this money going? Like I see, the pink ribbon on some soup cans and clothes and stuff. But if they really, and I'm just using that organization as an example, but a lot of times these CEOs are paid almost $1 million a year. But yet you're supposed to be trying to help, the people breast cancer survivors or people going through breast cancer or whatever. So why is it that and I'm not saying the CEO shouldn't make money, but why are they making that kind of money? So exactly. A lot of times people aren't even aware where the money is going exactly. But I feel like if you're a donor and you're a regular donor, I think that's your right to know where. It's like a lot of times people go to church and they're afraid to ask the pastor. Well, I tithe 10% of my money every month, which, whatever, it's $3,000 a month, depending on how much you're making. I'd like to know where that money is going. If they can't tell you where that money is going, then there's probably a problem. Most people who are on the level, they don't have a problem being transparent. They will tell you this is exactly where your money is going. Like right tomorrow, you should be able to walk into the organization up top and say, hey, as the public, I'd like to see an accounting of your money, where it's going. And, if they're stuttering and hemming and hawing, there's probably some issues there. So.
I tell you what, they found the right puppet. Tarsha Jackson. Where's Geppetto? I see the strings hanging from her arms. She seems like the right puppet. Now, we're going to leave that for a second. I see our man down on Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., decided it's time to give the governors the power to kill a bunch of people and open these states back up. I know in Texas today, they had a big rally in front of the governor's mansion. What is your ideologies on the COVID-19 situation and opening these states back up? Which I think is too soon.
Well, we know that the world is still in the midst of this pandemic, the COVID-19, which is a virus that is 10 times deadlier than a regular flu. It has taken quite a bit of lives. We know here in the United States, we have lost the most lives and we have the most affected by the coronavirus. And so, yes, he says May 1st is when he wants to open up the country economically. Well, he said that for Easter. Well, we see what happened with that. But because the other day he was talking a bunch of big stuff like, I'm in control. I can do whatever I want. I have the power to open up the government. Well, we know that's not true. Per Amendment 10, or some people know it as Amendment X, that gives the governors of each state the power to open and close their state as they see fit. in regards to pandemics, and then there's another one in regards to the economics of the state. So I think he probably realized he doesn't have that power now. Follow the governors who are opening their states. They're probably Trump supporters. They're probably Republicans, and they, believe all of that. This is, a conspiracy, and it's not that bad. We should have the right to work and all this other stuff. And so, I think it's really unfortunate that some governors are going ahead and, like you said, putting their people's lives at risk. I happen to live in California, where we have a really good governor, and he's like, we're going to make sure that people stay alive because lives are more important than money.
I'm gonna say this. I think they should come up with some wristbands. I think they should have like a blue wristband and maybe a green wristband. The green wristband would be for the people that want to stay in the house because they don't feel safe coming out. That's the green wristband. Now, the blue wristband is for all of those that want to hurry up and come up out of here. So when you die and you have on a blue wristband, throw him in a hole. Because we ain't got time to be coming to funerals and catching whatever he had that killed him. We know in the state of Texas that the USA has tested less than 1% of the population. And according to Sarah, Texas is tested less than 0.08%. So you willing to put us in danger to make money? You're willing, and I get it I get it. I get it. But Gary Monroe ain't coming out to hide. Oh, no. I can do some schoolwork. I ain't coming out to hide. And people are gonna have to use common sense right now. You already got duped with the 1,200.
Okay.
1,200 gone. At least 71% of y'all ain't got a dollar to your name off that 1,200 right now. So now you understand why we were complaining $1,200 wasn't gonna get it. I mean, I don't care what the amount of money is, but if you send it to me weekly, then I can, create some things that seem like normalcy to me financially. But to even think about opening up certain states like Texas, New York, California, well, we ain't worried over in Cali. Y'all got somebody with common sense running your state. New York has a fabulous dude running their state, and Texas got an idiot. And that's how I feel because the corona doesn't discriminate. It'll kill a Democrat just as well as it'll kill a Republican. It'll kill a white person just as well as it'll kill a black one, a Latino. It don't discriminate. It'll take all the letters of the LGBTQ out. So if you're dumb enough to think that you're ready to go back and these numbers are steady climbing, especially in the state of Texas where they've not tested enough people, you're putting your life on a roulette wheel. You are gambling with your life. Yeah, I know it's tough. It's tough for all of us financially right now. But you got to use some common sense. You got to use some common sense. Look, my mama, see, right now I'm hearing my mama. I know she up, in the upper room with the mother 11 brothers and sisters. And they drinking coffee. He gonna tell them the real watch. That's what they up there saying. My mama would tell me right now, you ain't going out there. You've been poor all your life. You can be poor a couple of more months. You've been poor all your life. What you in a rush for? So you can get back in the club and everybody get the coughing on you and you end up dead? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And if you smart, you won't do it. When your local officials stop wearing the mask, that might be a sign you can get back to normal. When your local officials stop having a press conference every 10 or 15 minutes, you may be able to get back to normal. And here's the last one. Whether it's the president or the governor, When you can walk down Main Street in the city that I live in without no mask and no protective gear, then I'll think about going back outside and going back to normal.
Well, I mean, I think it's important to realize the people who are making the decisions that you and I, go back out there and risk our lives, they're not going to do it. They're not going to send their children out there. And I always talk about the Communist Manifesto, and it talks about these times that we're in right now. Basically, there will only be a proletariat, working class. I mean, working class, middle class is still there to some degree, but not like it used to be. And then the ones that owns the means to production, the machine, the 1%, they own the machine. And so the Communist Manifesto predicted that eventually the people, the working class, the proletariat would rise up against the machine. So I think we have to ask ourselves, are we at that time to where the people are going to finally say enough? Like you said, I've been, for your example, I've been poor my whole life, but I'd rather be poor and alive than poor and dead. At some point in time, the 99% has to say, this is our government. The government is supposed to work for us. You're supposed to put our lives over your businesses. And if you follow the stock market, it ain't been the same since this all happened. And that's really what's going on. They don't want because we're close to a recession. If not, we're probably already in it. We see, the unemployment claims are just skyrocketing. And they want to avoid a depression. Anybody knows anything about the depression? We weren't there, obviously. It was horrible.
It's two types of depressions that we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we're dealing with the monetary one, and the one we got to deal with every day when we watch the news, looking at this man. A bunch of us stay depressed.
Right. So, the rich, they're in control. They're the ones that own, as I always say, you always use Jeff Bezos as an example. He is the CEO and founder of Amazon. If he were to close every last one of his warehouses around the world, a lot of people would be out of luck completely. And so the working class has to decide that they want to take some of that control back. That these rich people don't completely own and control their lives. To some degree, the working class has to say, like, imagine if everybody said, we are not going back to work. We're going to stay home until this virus is done, till I can walk, like you said, walk outside without a mask on, and not have to worry about it. Is this the time that I'm out getting some apples at the store, that I'm going to come back home with the COVID and infect everybody else? That's when we need to say we're going to go back outside. But right now, Trump is like, enough. And of course, he's buckling to the the pressures of his constituents. As you said, at a lot of these city hall and governor mansions and things like that, you're seeing a lot of Trump supporters out there saying it's all right. You don't have the right to shut the government down. We want the government open. This is a hoax. We're not really afraid of getting sick. We think it's all overblown. And so I think he's buckling to, because we've got to also remember, we are in campaign season. I know it gets overshadowed a lot, but we're still in campaign season. And so Trump is going to do what's best for him getting reelected. And if he doesn't want to piss off his base, and right now, his base is out there saying, open up the government. But where are all the people saying, no, keep it closed until we know we're not going to die? Where are those people? Why aren't those people on the other side just as vocal as the Trump supporters?
I totally agree with you 100%. And now I look at my people. You got your 1,200. You done went bought every TV in Walmart. What about buying the kids some food, man? We are so irresponsible at the wrongest times. A lot of people did not do right with their 1,200. And you really think you finna get some more money. That 1,200 could have bought me a whole bunch of chickens and some pig feet. And I know proper English, y'all, but when you from the hood, I eat pig feet. And I'm just saying, we're not gonna stock the. And I'm gonna be honest, I did it. We did it so swell that ain't nobody gotta go buy no groceries. Right? We bought groceries a month ago. Just a smart way of doing it. But now we get the money and we want to be irresponsible. Now in some states, some of you people, kids ain't going back to school. What you gonna do? Summertime is now. What you gonna do? And I'm gonna keep it hood all day long. I'm gonna keep it gangster. I'm gonna keep it hood, and I'm gonna keep it professional. Some of y'all smoke a bunch of weed, so you eating up everything around the house. Some of y'all can't keep no ice cubes in the freezer. Y'all be on that weed. Y'all eat everything around the house. You could have took that 1,200 and did the right thing with it. You could have done and some of y'all took the 1,200, went to the corner store and played the machines. All the money gone. I mean, irresponsible at the wrongest times.
I mean, I'm laughing because I did see that. I did see somebody put a photo up of all the TVs for the most part was gone at Walmart the day, most people's stimulus check dropped. And when I saw it, I was like, are you kidding? Like, I get it. I know, because I know how, Black people, our spending habits are. So I shouldn't be surprised. But I was really shocked. Like, okay, this is some like destitute times we're going through. And you went and bought it. Now, all fairness is not to say it was just us, but I guess, whatever. But at this time, you need to watch some more TV. I think people need to really reassess what's going on here. This is not a time, to be sleeping all day and, watching TV all day. This is a time to try to re-strategize and figure out how I'm going to come out of this and how I'm not going to be affected by this the next time. Just the fact that so many people file for unemployment. I get it. You should file for unemployment if you got furloughed and all of that. But so many people are just, without a clue, says how bad it is economically for everybody. Now, I know a lot of people don't have jobs where they can save and things like that, but a lot of people do. And a lot of people have just were haphazard with their money. But I was blown away. I could not believe, like, the TVs were gone. Like, if you needed that money, you probably, if you had bills, you should have paid the bills. And if you didn't have any bills, we'll just put it in the savings for next time, because people are sadly mistaken if they think there will not be a next time. I think people were fortunate that they gave at least that, because we know in other countries, they're giving, $2,000 a month to all of their citizens until they're able to go outside and work again. The United States, which is considered one of the richest countries, that's debatable, gave people $1,200. And those people went and bought a TV. So that means you're going to buy a TV, sit on your butt, and do more of nothing. That's what that means. There's something wrong.
Let me tell you something, man. What you think they going to do with some reparation money?
See how they want to go.
They going to OD at Walmart. You give them some reparation money, they going to OD at Walmart. I'm just saying. I mean, everything you just said, it's like you preaching the gospel. It's like you preaching the gospel. People, we have to do better. And I'm not just talking to Black people. I'm talking to all people. Right now is not the time to be irresponsible. You have to be smart about every single thing that you are doing. Now, I want to talk to you about something very near and dear to my heart. There was a young lady, and she was in the 10th grade at James Madison High School in Houston, Texas. I saw the mom come across my screen one day and posted a picture, and The child had been beat up horribly. And I'm thinking, well, somebody done jumped this kid. Well, come to find out, it was actually the people accused of assaulting this child on this school campus was the actual principal, Carlotta Brown Outley, and the officer, the police officer that was on the campus. Now, I'm gonna give you the backstory on this. The child was in the bathroom with her friend, putting her lashes on before first period. The bell rings. So principal comes in the bathroom. And this principal has a reputation for being probably one of the worst principals in the history of being a principal. Just black lady looked down on everybody. So she came in there and told them, y'all need to finish up and get up out of here. Right now, you got 10 seconds. So she starts counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, count down. So she gets the one. They're trying to get their stuff. She snatches the glue, because remember, they putting the lashes on. She snatches the glue out of Debrianna Barnes' hands. And as she's snatching it, Debrianna snatches back. Her reflexes tell her to snatch back. Now, I don't know if the lady grabbed her by her arm. I can't say for sure. But she ended up with a lot of bruises all on her, bicep and her arms. At that point, the principal, when she snatches back, that's all she did. The principal starts screaming, assault, assault, assault. And here comes the big bad police officer. Now, this little girl, every bit of 4'11".
Oh, wow.
Maybe about 120, 130 pounds. Slams the child on the floor. Cuffs her up. And according to the officer now, because it's tricky, walks her down the hallway, takes her upstairs to the office, and that's it. That wasn't it. Let me tell you how dirty these people are. And God's going to send me everything I'm supposed to have. So I get the assignment and didn't charge the parent $1. I'm not charging you for this. We got to get justice. And the thing is the child, was suspended. Actually, the child went to jail, charged with assault for snatching her hand back. And the child goes to jail. So the next day I'm in front of school. I can't go on the school campus because they done barred me from setting foot on the campuses at that point. So I'm out there, massive protest, because the kids say they coming out. And I always tell people, I don't recommend children to walk out of schools. But if they do walk out, I'm going to be out there waiting on you to make sure that you don't violate the law and the law don't violate you. But you have a constitutional right if you choose to peacefully protest. If that's what you want to do, then I'm going to be there to support you. And on that day, I met some good friends, Annie Whitaker, Alana Landhart, who normally is on here watching us every night. She came up. So we there listening to horror stories about this cop. So by the time we look at the pictures and all this, the child is bruised up in the eye. I mean, on her neck, the arms. I mean, it just looked like Ike was in the building and Tina didn't sing the song right. I'm being straight up with you.
Wow.
So they said she did this and she did that. Well, the video only shows this. And God sent me the part of the video that they altered. They altered the video to make it look like nothing ever happened to the child, but then they couldn't justify the bruises. So the video that I got was when he brought her out of the bathroom. And he's walking her down the hall, the cop, with her arms behind her back because she's cuffed, with two administrators, picks her up and slams her on her face. But this video is not in the video that the district is presenting. So what they did is they charged her, and I'm going to tell you what they did to the cop. They moved him to another school and gave him a promotion. And we're talking about the same principal that had a problem with parents wearing bonnets on their heads. That's her. So mom called me one day because we gotta deal with this in the courtroom now. And normally this is your school to prison pipeline, y'all, that's out there. They charged her with a crime, made her go through the process, fingerprinted her the whole 9 yards. So now we got a battle in the courtroom. Okay, so we take it to court. Mom called me. She said, Mr. Monroe, I can't afford an attorney. Nobody had a clue that this family was going through some things. And I mean to the highest degree. I did my part. Whatever they needed, I did my part. From buying food to helping with anything I could help them with. And the community pitched in too. People sent money from everywhere to help this family. And she said, I don't have the money for the attorney. I say, how much is the attorney? And she told me. I say, send me his address. And she sent it. And I went paid for that child's attorney. Because you're not going to criminalize this child because this out of control principal just wanted to do this. Well, today I'm happy to report my lawyer, because this is two-pronged now. This is two-pronged, y'all. You got the criminal side. I got to get used to this crap. You got the criminal side, and then you got the civil side. The criminal side today, Madison High School, Al. The criminal side today, the charges against Debrianna Barnes were dismissed. Rightfully so, they were dismissed. So where does that take us? Let's take it to the federal courthouse, a violation of our civil rights, and we can prove it. HISD, I got a recommendation for you. In the state of Texas in schools, they do not teach cursive writing. Whoever is in charge of the vault and can write the check, practice signing your name. Because you finna pay for what y'all did to that child. We got out the criminal side. Nothing's on a record. We ain't taking. And I mean, I went down there one day because her mom couldn't go. And I happened to actually be in Dallas when her mom called me and said, I can't get her to court, Mr. Monroe. If I miss a day at work, I'm going to lose my job. I drove from Dallas and met that child at that courthouse. And I go in there with this little public defender. She need to take the deal. Well, why she need to take the deal? Well, it ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work in here. And I'm telling you exactly how she was treating me. And I'm watching all these kids in this courtroom. If she don't take the deal, she gonna get more than that. Well, what's the deal? 6 months of further adjudication, and it comes off her record. I say, ma'am, we ain't taking no deals. Well, who are you? I'm her guardian today. We ain't taking no deals. Well, I tell you what, you can get up out of here. I say, I tell you what, I'm going to get up out of here. You stay here, deep around. I'll be right back. Don't open your mouth. I walked out the room. I called my attorney. Say, man, we need an attorney. I need an attorney for this child, man. He say, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to get you either a pro bono or the cheapest I can find. And I walked back in that room. What did you decide? I decided you fired. That's what I decided. You're not going to criminalize this child. I say, you ain't even looked at the evidence. How does a child have bruises all over her eyes? You know how she got the bruises? I mean, all this is blackened. She got the bruises because for some strange reason, when they built these new schools, they put outlets, sockets in the floors. And then they put those little iron pieces over them. So when he was slamming her on her face on the floor, she was hitting her eyes on the socket. Mr. Policeman, I don't want the money. We're going to get the money regardless. I want to put a lien against your license so that you can never be a police officer anywhere. You ain't going to even be able to drive the golf cart at Walmart when I get home. It ain't going to happen. I'm going to give you the flow because I think parents need to pay more attention and start listening to their children in these school environments because these people are brutalizing these kids and they're lying on them, sending them to jail. I see it happen every single day.
Well, I mean, I think you said it all, but I would also say, stop allowing your children to take deals. Stop helping the school system sell your child up the river. Fight it all the way. And I get it. You don't want to miss work. It's consuming. We believe them when they say it's not going to go on, it's going to come off their record. But anybody has dealt with the legal system know that's a lie. Even the arrest stays on your record. Luckily for her, she's a child, so and you handle it. But for most people, that stays on their record. I mean, we've heard of plenty of adults saying, they went to apply for a job and then something
on apartment.
Yeah. Something happened to them as a child, they got in some trouble, whatever, that came up, and it stopped them from moving forward. And so stop taking the deals. Stop letting these people scare you into thinking, well, if you don't do this, you know what? Even if you go to court, you got a 50-50 chance. I'm going to take my chance with the jury and let them decide, but I'm not going to let you give me a deal, especially if I'm innocent. Especially if your child is innocent and they're telling you, hey, I didn't do it. They're lying. You fight it all the way. Even if it has to go to trial, take it to trial. Going to trial is expensive, but these DAs or, the public defenders, they going to get a check if your child is guilty or not guilty. They don't care. It's even work for them if you say, okay, well, we're going to take the plea deal. All right, well, you know what? You're going to go to juvenile hall for 6 months and, you're going to be out. No. Make them do their job. And if they can't do their job, let them go. Do whatever you need to do. You sell the car, sell the cat, the dog, whatever you need to do to get some money to vindicate your child. Because as Monroe said, there is a school to prison pipeline. And that's what I just, like as parents, like my daughter's 27, so I don't have that issue anymore. But we got to educate ourselves. Don't send your child nowhere you don't know the rules. You have to know how it works. Study, what's going on with these prisons. We know a lot of prisons are privatized. In order to have something private, they need to have investors. If you have investors, they have to guarantee the investors a return on their investment. In order to do that, they have to guarantee that 90% of the beds in prisons will be occupied. Well, how do they do that? You have to put stuff on any and everybody. Start the kids when they're young. That way they can't get a job. And so they're just continually racking up all these cases. And pretty soon, you know what? That's a bed that's full. And sometimes for 25 years to life. That's why they give us all these harsh sentences, because they need them at the end of the day, follow the money. It's always about the money. That your child is a dollar sign. So stop allowing these people to, and stop allowing these people put your kids in special ed, or they just ain't, or they going to special ed, or they got to go to this program. What they're doing is they're racking up a file on your child so they can justify putting the hammer on them when the time comes. When it comes to your child.
I would tell people that education is guaranteed. In the state of Texas, it's guaranteed. You're going to get an education, whether it's in the schoolhouse or the penitentiary. Let me show you what I mean. One, it costs about $3,500 to educate a kid. But it costs $34,000 to incarcerate them. Now, the kicker is, if your child, cutting up or however that's going, because sometimes these people just flat out lying on these kids. Mm-hmm. Your child end up in the system, okay, where they didn't graduate. Don't you know you cannot exit the Texas Department of Corrections without at least a GED? So if you go in without one, without a diploma, you cannot exit unless you have a GED. So that's why I say education is guaranteed in the state of Texas, because you're going to get it one way or the other. And they would preferably like you to get it in the form of incarceration. While you're in the Texas penitentiary, you will pick cotton, like your name is Kunta. You will. And you will not exit parole, nothing, if you do not have a GED. And you know what? You said a mouthful a few seconds ago. You know, you letting these people tell you your child need to be in special ed. Oh, he has a learning disorder. No, his ass is bad. That's all it boils down to. You don't want to discipline him at home, so he takes that conduct to school. Okay, they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it in the schoolhouse. So I tell you what we're gonna do. Let's call his mom in. Let's get him tested. The test for special ed is worse than the test for the coronavirus. Because your child gonna come out that room worse than they went in. They gonna tell your child got all kind of deficiencies. And before you know it, they gonna label your child with all this foolishness, have your child on all this medication, got them walking around the schoolhouse like a zombie, and now all of a sudden, your baby ain't normal no more. It's not normal no more. Now, if you take the time out of your day and spank their behinds when they cut up at home, now they go into the learning environment and they think twice. You see what I'm saying? They think twice. But if you continue to allow these people to Tuskegee experiment your children, yes, your child will end up in the school of prison pipeline. Yes, your child will end up in special. It don't take but that much time for your child to end up in special ed. And it's going to take a lifetime to get them out. You know why? Because a regular student gets about 300 a day. A special ed kid, when they put them labels, they're going to get that 3, then they're going to get another 150. They're going to get another 100. So before you know it, they get $800 a kid. That's why the population of special ed kids that went up in the regular schools. Now, I'm going to say this, but y'all don't laugh, man. I be serious. But I say it, I say it in a crazy way. Special ed children were normally 7 or 8 kids that came to school early. They rode on a small bus, and they did that. I don't know why they did that. They should have let them ride on a regular bus. But, they rode on a small bus. They ate lunch early. We could identify the special ed kids. How does a school have an enrollment of 800 kids and 400 of them labeled special ed? How does that happen?
The money. But somebody asked the question, they said, why doesn't it happen in white schools? It's because, and I hate to say it, is it the truth? White parents typically are more involved with their children. Not saying we are not, but overall, they're more involved. They're more involved. We tend to just kind of send the kids off to school, and and I'll be honest with you. My daughter was very well behaved. I only had an issue once or twice with her in school. Once when she was in high school, I think she was 11th grade. It was a misunderstanding, but the teacher wanted her phone, and my daughter said, "What the hell?" Okay. Her teacher called me. I was on my way going out of town somewhere. Do you know? I turned my truck around, and it happened to be the teacher's passing period. I said, "Keep my daughter there until I get there." I got there, and I said, "You don't ever disrespect your teacher. I don't care what it is." And I told the teacher, "You keep her phone until you see fit to give it back to her. I don't care if they could be to the end of the year. I don't care whenever you give it back to her, that's when you give it back to her." That lady told me, she says, "You know what? I wish I had more parents like you." She says, "I'm shocked. I did not think you were going to come, and deal with this today or the way you did." And she says, "Normally your daughter's a good student. I just was shocked that she talked to me that way. But she says, I want to thank you, for dealing with it." Now, I could have, this is the other side of that. I could have said, "You know what? You better give my daughter her phone. I pay for that phone. You don't pay that phone bill." That's because a lot of parents do that kind of stuff.
They get the popping their neck.
Yeah. So to your earlier point, now I'm one of those people. I did, spank my child and my nieces and nephews because I raised some of them when they were younger. But that I'm older, I feel like, parents need to take a little bit more time, because a lot of times parents, and I said this too, I would hate to be raising a child in this generation of parents. All you see them is doing this all day. They on the phone all day. It's like, how you raising a child and you got your face, like you don't. So parents got to be more active in their children's lives.
Yes.
Don't be that parent that you and the teacher tell you something. Now, of course, we all know our kids, but I'm saying if they're telling you that they're misbehaving, deal with it right away. Stop being lazy.
I'm the you ain't got parent. I'm the you ain't got parent. Let me break that down to you. Why you all in my business? You ain't got no business. Why you coming in my room? You ain't got no room. It's my house. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. See, back in the day, you had to fear the parent as well as the teachers and the coaches at the school, because you were held accountable everywhere. When you walking down the street after school, everybody in the neighborhood finna hold you accountable. That's what it was. You didn't have to worry about getting your behind beat when you got home, because you're gonna get it beat on the way home. So let me tell you, let me show you how I am. It taught me initiative, but it just shows the respect that I had for the people at the school, as well as the fear of having to deal with the coaches and the parents. There's a story that defines me, and people get it wrong. They try to tell it. Oh, Monroe stole a Metro bus. Tell them why. Tell them why I stole the bus. See, I had a pretty girlfriend. Oh, I'm a star football player. My girlfriend lost the chain. When y'all used to put them crinkles in y'all hair every morning, I used to sit on the front porch and put the crinkles in my gal hair. And it would always make me late for first period. See, the problem was, if the bus driver would drive the route and not stop at the cleaners every morning, I could get to the front of the school, put the crinkles in my gal hair, walk out of class, and still get the first period on time. But the dude would stop at the cleaners every morning. So my first period teacher was a female coach, Miss Lovey Lynch, who thought that I was demonic at 15 years old, because I had the knack. When I played football, I was on the line and I could break people's legs. Oh. Honestly, I hold the record for most broke legs in a season, which is 5. So if you lined up in front of me, you probably were going to end up on disability if I felt I couldn't block you, because I'm going to break your leg. So every morning, you just a demonic force. And then you're late again. So then she go down there snitching to the coaches and she would tell my line coach, and he was just like, he called me Money. He like, Money, you got to get to class on time, man. I'm like, Coach, come on, man. That man slowing the bus down. He say, man, if you quit sitting on the porch putting them crinkles in that girl hair, you wouldn't be late. No, if he wouldn't stop at the cleaners. You say, all right, you better hope Booker don't find out. Who is Booker? Hall of Fame football coach that done sent tons of dudes to the NFL. So when this man walked around, it was like he had an illuminating light around him. It was like he was Vince Lombardi. He was that dude. So he called me in the office one morning. I'm coming out of first period. He said, I'm gonna give you a pass to your second period class. Let me talk to you. And that's just how he talked. Never raised his voice. He say, Miss Lynch, tell me you got a problem getting to class on time. And I explained to him, Coach, the man stopping at the cleaners. He say, well, if you wasn't on the front porch being a beautician and getting drunk every morning, because I had to get me a little taste. I had to get me a little taste. So I'm saying, he said, I tell you what, if you're late again, I'm gonna kick you off the team. Coach, if you're late one more time, I'm gonna kick you off the team. So the next morning we at the bus stop. He said, I'm gonna kick you off the team and then I'm gonna beat you behind. And you knew back then they were dealing with the real Board of Education. So the next morning we at the bus stop. Everybody like, man, what you gonna do? Because the whole school know. Word got around. Man, if the man stopped this bus, I'm gonna show y'all this morning. And like clockwork, we get on the bus. I'm sitting right in the front seat because I ain't playing this morning. We on the bus. The man stopped at the cleaners. I watched him because I didn't even know how to drive. I watched him. He slowed down. He stopped and he turned that knob. Remember they had that little knob next to him, and it said, psst, and he got off the bus. I jump in the seat, put my foot on the brake, turned the knob, and it said, psst, and I took off. I had one turn to make by TSU. I made the turn and I stopped the bus right there at the corner at the CUNY home, made it to the front porch, put the crinkles in my gal hair, and was sitting in my chair in first period before Miss Lynch even walked in the room. And then after class, coach come to me. He say, man, they told me you stole a bus. I say, that's your fault. He say, what you mean that's my fault? I say, man, you told me you were gonna beat my behind and you gonna kick me off the team, right? Yeah, that's what I said. I say, and I took some initiative. So from that day forward, I am never late for nothing that I do. Because I was too afraid I had to deal with that dude. Or either go home and deal with my mama. And I definitely didn't want to deal with that little 99-pound demon. Because she ain't played no games. Period. I asked my sister, you running your mouth in here, huh? One day all I heard was pow. She shooting at her in the house. She ain't play no games. None. So I think if we stop, we can become better parents. We can fix this. Because we have to stop being our children's friend. And draw the line. Draw the line. I'm your parent. I'm not your friend. And if you need some theme music, my boy got the song. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your partner. That's what it is. So I think we need to pay more attention to our children in schools. Listen to your children because they are not lying every time something happens. That I've defended too many children. These people are beating the hell out of your kids in them schools. And they getting away with it. Because the school district gonna cover it up. Because they don't want the report to go in and look bad at the state level. Man, please stop and pay attention to your children. Use this time we have right now to prepare yourself for when we come out of this pandemic, man. You see what I'm saying? For when we come out of this pandemic. What I'm gonna do is give the floor to my Nubian co-host. What's your final words?
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You got to pay attention to your children. Our children are our future. We are raising the next generation of kings and queens, or, the opposite of whatever that is. So that's on us. We need to, as parents, step up to the plate, put your phones down, pay more attention, get more involved in their school, stop having your children go to events and you don't show up. I mean, you got to be there for your children 100%, because what you do with them right now is how they're going to go on through the rest of their lives. Give them a solid foundation so they can be better people, because at one day it's going to come a point to where they're going to take care of us. And so you have to think, did I equip them with the tools and everything they needed to be able to take care of me? When that time comes, because it's going to come. I take care of my father. He's elderly. But you just got to be there for your kids. I mean, I can't stress that enough.
I know it's tough, with the work schedule. Some parents working 2 jobs and all that. But the one thing I remember about my mom, we were poor. You couldn't tell we were poor because she made it happen, and she was making $119 a week and could make it happen. That was a lot of money back then. But the one thing she always found time to do was come to every game. She found time to be at every award ceremony. Anything that I dealt with or my sister dealt with, she was there because we were that important. And I tell y'all this, I don't say this very often. My mom died in my arms. Caught a heart attack, died in my arms. And for a split second, because she caught a heart attack, She died, and I was able to give her life just like she gave me life. And she just told me, she said, just take care of your sister. And I knew it was her time. It took me a month to cry. But all them lessons that she taught me prepared me for everything that I deal with. Take time out and make your children a priority. Make them the first priority. If you're a father, make your children a priority, especially your girls, because they will never understand what it is to be treated like a woman unless a father can show them. My girls went on their first dates with me, and I reminded them, how did your date end? Well, we ate and we came home, so every date should end the same way. You shouldn't end up in a motel. And that's what it is. I took them out, I pulled a chair out for them, opened the door for them, the whole nine. And that's what they expect every single day. If you cannot treat me like my father, then I don't want nothing to do with you. And that's what it is. We have to become better parents. And in order to become a better parent, you have to become a better person. You can't change kid behavior until you change adult behavior. It does not work. So I tell you what, go to Google. If you got to Google it, man, become a better parent, man. That's all it boils down to. You feel what I'm saying? Become a better parent. I think if you become a better parent, some of your kids will live longer. I want to thank you for tuning in. Very, very spirited discussion, as usual. Hey, tomorrow night, I got my man Anthony Collier on the show. You don't know who he is. Texas Southern University graduate. And right now, he is, man, this dude here, student body president of the University of Texas Law School. Straight out of Third Ward, Texas, man. That's what we do. On behalf of my co-host, Demetri K., I am the 5-star general. We'll see you tomorrow night, man.